Welcome, my name's Ahbad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. Today is going to be the last entry in the Budget Faction War series, with High Elves 21 taking centre stage. I wasn't originally going to make a video on High Elves, as I kind of felt the Arbiter hard carried the faction so much that there was limited value in doing so, but in the comment sections people did say or request that I make one anyway, and one idea was to do it arbiterless. So here we are with 5 champions, none of which are arbiter. Unfortunately, I don't have very many level 50s to choose from. All of my level 50s outside of Reliquary Tender are legendaries, unbooked and unloved maybe, but I still didn't want to use them in this showcase example. As a consequence, I am running 4 60s and a 50. You definitely don't need to have as many 60s as this. However, I had invested in these champions previously for other content. Tyrell I built most recently for defense secret rooms, epic defense specifically. Jingle Hunter and Apothecary were early to mid-game carries for my account. Apothecary is a champion that most people by now are familiar with. Great speed booster, nice triple hit A1, makes him have use in both Clan Boss and Fire Knight, and then a short 2-turn good single target heal in the A2 means that he really helps progression enormously. And then Jingle Hunter, fairly unloved champion, but actually I would say fairly underrated. You have a hard-hitting A3 with a TM reduction, and a hard-hitting A2, which if you kill the target, the rest of the enemy will be frozen. So you can actually work him into your composition in such a way that you end up with fairly good crowd control coming from Jingle Hunter. So yeah, I'd say underrated, as he does hit hard and does bring some utility. Elhain I built recently as well for the magic rare secret room, and I'm running her in a stun set with Fearsome Presence. Jingle Hunter, as I mentioned, was previously an Arena Nuker, so in Helm Smasher. Apothecary was previously Clan Boss, so in Giant Slayer. Right, let's jump into the run and see how it plays out. Unfortunately, I'm having to re-record the audio here as I had an audio issue, so I will not do my usual style of talking you through as I do the abilities per se, because our audio's all been somewhat corrupted. In any case, we open with a speed increase from Apothecary, drop the defense from Tyrell, and then we're deciding should we go for a single target kill and try and get the freeze out, or just do an AoE nuke with TM reduction. And with Jingle Hunter we did the latter. We've now already cycled back round, and we're able to get that single target kill and cause the freeze to cascade across the rest of the enemy. And already by this stage, we're just down to cycling our A1 abilities to get our skills back off cooldown for the next wave. With old Torture Helm, who revives himself, just gives us further opportunity to A1 spam and get through to the next wave with all of our skills off of cooldown. I will mention here actually the Jingle Hunter has a very useful decreased speed on the A1, further adding more utility. Again on the second wave we'll open with an increased speed and then AoE drop defense and then just try and get the nukes out. Our focus here is to try and kill that Man-Eater before he's able to put the unkillable and block debuffs on the rest of the team. That Jarang was close to taking a turn, so we took the decision to drop the TM there and then use Jingle Hunter's nuke to freeze the rest of the team. Obviously Norog cannot be frozen, so he was able to avoid our crowd control, and then with Reliquary Tender there we'll just take off the block buffs. And now we're already back in a position where we can pretty safely look to A1 cycle to get our key skills back off cooldown for the boss fight. And only, 2 minutes 15 in, we're already through to the boss. So the boss himself places a irresistible freeze on the attackers, or has a 20% chance to do so. Doesn't matter whether you run high resistance, you can't avoid that mechanic unless you are running block debuffs. And there aren't that many champions in High Elves who can bring block debuffs. Tatura, a recent fusion, is a prime example of a champion who does have full team block debuffs and is extremely good, therefore, for this boss. Beyond that, we really just want to get the side adds killed as quickly as possible, as they will buff the boss. With the boss himself, as we don't have a block debuffs and we haven't built resistance, we will be taking provokes on the A1 and full team True Fear on the A2. With the True Fear out, we will typically just look to cycle our A1 abilities to not lose our skills off of cooldown. And what we have here as well is, if we do have someone die, we do have Reliquary Tender as a single target revive. And with Apothecary's single target heal, we can generally cycle it such that we're always able to maintain our team's health. The full team continuous heal coming from Reliquary Tender on a 3-turn cooldown, which includes a cleanse, is also a great ability to help us kind of keep healthy, keep cycling. One thing I have noticed, or actually said that I noticed at this point in the run, which is why I'm now furiously highlighting Reliquary Tender, is that I had actually forgotten to build her for this run, so she's currently running, missing pieces in a severely inoperable, or suboptimal rather, build, and that's definitely not something that I'd recommend, but I guess what it does is it highlights that this room, as long as you have either Arbiter or a good team composition, you can easily get past it. It is the easiest of the faction war bosses, and it's a strong faction in terms of giving you what you need to get past it, particularly because of Arbiter. You can pretty much run this with Arbiter and any 4 friends. So as you can see, because of the True Fears, Provokes and Freeze mechanics, it's quite slow. It would be sped up significantly if we had ways to mitigate those debuffs. But as we have not brought anyone with block debuffs, and we didn't put resistance on Reliquary Tender, if we had built Reliquary Tender with resistance, we'd at least, for the Provokes and the True Fears, we'd at least be in a position that she would resist the True Fear, and we'd then be able to do the full team cleanse and speed up this run quite significantly. In any case, I'll just put some music on and let you guys watch out the rest of this run. And I think quite fittingly, there you have it, Jingle Hunter getting the final killing blow. You can see the majority of the damage has come from Elhain and Jingle Hunter. They are our best built champions in this run. And it is highlighted by the fact that they have done the majority of the damage. Jingle Hunter also bringing great wave utility and crowd control through single target decreased speed. The A2 that has the ability to, or the mechanic rather, to cascade freezes across the rest of the enemies if it kills the target. And then the A3 with the AoE TM reduction. So let's jump into the builds and have a look at what we've done. Tyrell here, not in a great build, is kind of just doing his job. I would generally recommend running him a little bit quicker just to give you faster cycles, particularly on his decreased defense AoE ability. The accuracy there is too high. You don't need it at all. 225 is a good target. And then obviously build a bit of defense and crit rate and crit damage if you can. In terms of the skills, they are all fully booked out. Booking the A2 is important because you do want to get the 100% chance to drop defense. So if you are running Tyrell, he's worth putting books in, particularly because of the A2 ability. But the A3 also actually brings some nice additional single target control via a TM reduction. And obviously the A1, which is what he's fairly famous for, brings a decreased attack on a good kind of percentage chance. So he's very strong for clan boss, and it'll also help you in faction wars. So if you do have Tyrell, he won't be wasted to invest in. And he also in future will be useful for epic defense only secret rooms, again bringing that AoE decreased defense. In terms of masteries, mine is not done. I've just got sort of tier 1 and 1 tier 3 done, so just tier 1, 2 and 3. On to Jingle Hunter, I have built him in lethal, but effectively it's just savage. 4.5k attack, 100% crit, and then a decent amount of crit damage. I am running him on the slower side, and I again do have too much accuracy, so around 225 would be optimum. I've dropped his speed to be able to increase the damage. The skills are booked out, and in terms of masteries, I have done him as an arena nuker, so I've gone down to Helm Smasher, and I've also picked up a bit of accuracy nodes and Evil Eye to give him that little bit more utility throughout the game. Right, on to Elhain. As I mentioned, run in a stun set as I use her in a secret room. I have tried to build her with some damage in her build as well, because she is my main damage dealer in the rare magic secret room. So 100% crit, decent crit damage, tried to build a bit of attack there, and running her around the 200 speed to be able to cycle back reasonably quickly and get as many attacks out as possible. Doesn't need to be super fast though, as she is on a nuker side of things. And then down to Fearsome Presence for more control as I'm running her in a stun set for that secret room. If you had her and you weren't at the point of worrying about the secret room, I wouldn't be running her in stun set or Fearsome Presence. Any kind of nuker build would be fine. If you don't have her, I wouldn't invest in her for this faction crypt, but she's useful for the secret room. Apothecary here built in a kind of traditional high-ish speed, high effective HP tanky build with a bit of crit rate for his A2 single target heal, which can crit. So it's a fairly typical Apothecary build here, used in sort of tanky dungeon progression and clan boss. There you go, the skills are booked and the A2 can crit. In terms of masteries, I've gone the traditional clan boss route of Giant Slayer to get the most out of his triple hit A1. And then lastly, Reliquary Tender, as I mentioned, not fully built at all. I forgot to put gear back onto her. She was previously built a long time ago in a kind of budget Relentless gear that I had available. In terms of gear sets for Reliquary Tender, I would recommend either Regen or Relentless as the best two sets for her. and then just try and build a reasonably high speed, something around sort of 200 to 230 would be a good target, and then high effective HP to make sure that she stays alive and is tanky. My general preference for a reviver is to run them in regen set, so they pretty much take care of themselves and are always around to revive someone on your team. It is only a single target revive though, so you do need to be a bit more careful than you can be if you are running a reviver that has multi-target revives. For instance, if you were running Arbiter in this, as she has a full team revive, you can afford to be very gung-ho and run extremely squishy nuke team around her without any real fear of failing to 3-star the stage. In terms of the skills, they are done on the A2 and A3, but not the A1, and the masteries are not done at all. So lastly, I'm just going to jump back in and show you kind of the team setup that I'm predominantly running as my farm team, which is a Arbiter-based team, along with Tatura, Tyrell, and 2 Royal Guards. Tatura there bringing the team block debuffs, as I mentioned. Royal Guards there, both purely in a nuke build. They're actually in Hydra builds at the moment, so they're fairly tanky, not that much attack being scaled. So they're a little bit slow on the waves, but they're very quick against the boss. You could arguably drop one of the Royal Guards, or even realistically Tyrell, and bring in a wave clear. Like a Yannicka and Savage would be pretty strong. We do get Yannicka via the clan shop, so pretty good champion there to pick up. So anyway, yeah, that is that. I'll leave you watching this run, and I'll say thanks for watching. Your support over the last couple of months in sort of developing this channel and trying to get this content out to help everyone get Lydia, and then to help people complete the Doom Tower secret rooms. It's a bit of a shame that there aren't better or more interesting Doom Tower secret room champions to be going after. But, you still need to do those secret rooms for Romantu, and there's always a chance in the future that Plarium will buff some of those Doom Tower legendary champions on the hard side. And that I kind of hope they do, because I think it's a real missed opportunity. I think if Doom Tower gave you champions that helps you progress against Hydra, it would be a much more interesting mechanic and a much more kind of natural progression path within the game. So hopefully it's something they will change, and we will get some buffs onto those champions in due course. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback is always welcome. I do try and reply to as many comments as possible. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.